Hello YouTube, once again welcome back. It's your boy Alfred here, and today's title is Never Trust a Man Who Serves the Gynocentric. Never trust a man, or a male for that matter, who serves or is deep inside serving the gynocentric world. Now we know that a lot of men are deep into they're loyal to the gynocentric, right? They do not want to be partial, logical, right, or have reason, because they're emotional and they're still attached to the womb of their mother. And so they're loyal to their matriarchy because, of course, they're rewarded, right? And usually it's because also including, right, that they get pussy. They serve pussy as long as they're good boys. So if you're a good boy and you act right and you serve the gynocentric world and the matriarchy, you're gonna get pussy and new toys here and there, and of course whatever it is that you're rewarded with, right? And it's usually not even because of hard work. It's just because you have to play a certain part. That's why we have so many fakers out there and pretenders, men especially. And I'm talking to men out there. So these people are only loyal to their loins, the pussy, right? Why? Because they're still boys. They're still boys in their mind. They're unable to break away from. They're unable to break away from the grasp of their mom. So they have to be controlled. They have to be told what to do, because usually they also want things. They desire things, but they're not willing to work for them as in a manly manner, with principles and values. Now I know the world isn't all rosy and shit. I get it, right? But this is different from a competitive nature of men, right? Serving someone because they have something you want, and you are serving in a way that it does not dignify you. It lowers your dignity, and you are less of a man, right? It's not the same as being competitive as a man. That's far different. The problem is these days men are willing to go as low as they can, just to get to where they want to be. Now I'm not here to bash out. People can do whatever they want, but it's to remind them that at the end of the day, doing that type of shit, right, will only get you deeper into stupidity and of who you're serving. Because first of all, serving the gynocentric world, right, the matriarchy always want new blood, right? They'll take you up when you're strong and healthy and fresh and young. But once that tends to wither away, that's when they look for your replacement. That's why a man has to have everything else apart from serving whoever they serve. You have to be manly and have values and have principles and have skills, especially manly skills, survival skills that are manly, and that can get you into a place that you are not only thinking independent, but you can be independent. Now, because the whole system that we live in, the majority of the time, right, is based on the matriarchy, right? The matriarchy controls a lot of it, right? So that's why you have some people succeeding, some people not succeeding out of value, and some do not need values, and that's because some people will do anything to succeed, right? But if you're someone who's within principles and values, now I know a lot of people say that these principles do not bring food to the table and shit, don't pay rent. However, you have to be smart about that, because if you are going to go low below your dignity, you'll wish that you had not done it in the first place. So you do not allow your principles to be broken, right, just to do anything. That's what I'm saying. Compromising your values, compromising your principles, right, it does something to you, right? And sometimes no amount of money can actually buy those values and principles. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand. Once you have values and your own principles, right? And I'm not talking about hard-headedness, where you have to change so that you become someone, right? Or you just go and you have to adapt to situations, right? But I'm talking about like your core principles, things that you're not going to negotiate, things that are not negotiable, right? For example, I like giving this example. One of my principles or values that I do not sleep with a married woman. I'm just putting this out there. I've got many of them. I do not sleep, or I really am not fond, or I do not do that. Right? That's a principle of mine because, for whatever reason, if you compromise that, right? Remember, once you compromise that principle and you've been sticking for it, something that you've internalized and you've been sticking with it, right? And then you break it. You later going to think about, was it worth it? Was you sleeping with that woman, especially maybe, let's say that woman was your best friend's wife, or even your brother's wife, cousin, whatever. Was it worth it? You have to think about that. And how do you feel inside? So you find a lot of principles, men with principles, rather feel good about themselves and their principles, because they know a lot of principles keep you away from certain situations, and that's the whole gist of it, right? You create values and principles that are basically kind of like boundaries, so they keep you away from certain situations. And once they keep you away from certain situations, they'll also keep you away from certain people that you, as you are creating yourself to be the best version of yourself, really you won't need those people unless otherwise. But then even if you encounter those people, there should be boundaries and principles put in place, because once those boundaries and principles are broken, first of all, it means it's easy for you to actually be disloyal to yourself, and it's also easy for you to be duped into changing your mind, even if what you value is true and is something that is you. It's truly you, right? And the gynocentric world does not really like people with principles. Just one thing all men should understand, because men who are not principled, right, who do not create value or have no dignity, are easily controlled. Hence, all the gynocentric world or the matriarchy has to do is link about pussy, the power you, or link about some sort of thing that's considered value, right? Value, cars, houses, marriage, things that will dupe you inside that, and then instead of your values and principles being what you value, now you value these things because they know that that's what you value. However, these things are secondary should be secondary to your principle, because things like cars and money and things, those are an extension on things that should help you move forward towards who you are. And these are things that are there, they'll always be there, right? These are resources and just things that are supposed to help you be the best version of you, and they're not things that should define you. But because many men for this matter are blind of that, or just ignore that, they want those things to actually define them, which is that's how you get stuck or get duped or trapped into societal or into trying to please society, because that's all they have to dangle. And so getting back to men who are actually this type of men who do not really create value for themselves, but are eager to create value for the gynocentric world, eager to protect and put them as the most high. Never trust them, because they'll always be disloyal. And because, like I said, they're attached to their matriarchy, their moms. Umbilical cord is not cut yet, no matter how they look. And this is another thing. They may look the part, they may sound the part, but it's in their actions. When someone's disloyal, they're not really, they're dodgy. Usually they're very dodgy because they have not had a male influence in their lives, a masculine male that is, in their lives, who will tell them, listen, you have to be loyal to yourself, you have to be loyal to what is right. All right. Now, I know right and wrong are subjective and stuff, but there are things that certain groups can have a consensus on, that this is right. No matter how you say someone else is right, may be wrong, yes, I get that. However, as we know, we are much more of a social group, so we have to come, and when we as social group, as humans, we do come to a sort of consensus, right, that will actually lead, or things that will create things that will eliminate, rather will enlighten us to what is good and bad within that tribe that we're creating. If men are going to come together, for example, if a tribe of men come together, just a few men who are creating a sort of tribe or creating whatever, they will have principles and things that will stick to, and they will say this is wrong, this is right, no matter what other people say. For example, the mafia. Let's say the mafia, for example, right? There's some certain things, no matter how much we disagree with the mafia and their tactics and all that and what they do, there are certain things they themselves abide to, right? They say this is wrong. If you take, for example, maybe you've seen the movies, mafia movies, right? There are certain things that the mafia don't do. For example, a mafia mob, the mafia basically do not injure or kill women and children, right? And once you do not abide to that, as someone who's below the couple, you will get killed, no matter which gang or who has sent you. Even if the highest mafia boss tells you to go out there and kill someone's wife and kids, every other mafia gang will come for you, because it's a principle, right? We may say, yeah, but these are mafias and shit, but they still have those principles, right? So you can see that when a society or a tribe comes together, right, they will set right and wrong. So there are some things that we can come to a consensus on, that this is right, this is wrong, right? And that's why I'm saying that a lot of men will rather ignore what they're supposed to be doing, which is doing something that is right, to serve the metric. Of course, in their own eyes, it's right. However, some men who actually prefer to be principled and create value and have value, right, won't take that man seriously. They won't, because at the end of the day, you are being disloyal to yourself if you do not have dignity, or you're not dignified in certain things, in certain manners, right? And that's the way of the world. But like I said, man, it's really up to anyone to do as they say, or as they want to do, rather. But as far as I'm concerned, it's hard to really trust someone who's loyal to the gynocentric. And here, I'm not like scapegoating. In fact, you shouldn't be trusting just about anyone. People are not untrustworthy these days, at least a lot of them. Right? But if you see or feel that someone is just too loyal and undignified, really up to you to make up your mind and say, no, I'm not going to be doing any sort of dealings with such and such a person, because I think that this person won't fit into what I'm creating, because what I'm creating needs principled people, need people who are dignified, people who really want to create value beyond shallow stuff. That's it. So, to wrap up, man, be very vigilant of people who are too loyal to the gynocentric, who always worship the matriarchy. And I'm basically talking about men out there who do this. They will never be loyal to what you're trying to create. They'll always be led astray by whatever they worship, or whatever they think deems them worthy, right? Because they'll be jumping monkeys for their matriarchy. And deal with people. You can deal with them by being cautious. Be very, very cautious with them, because don't be too trusty. Because at times when we have to deal with such people, since we want our dreams to be fulfilled, and unfortunately, some people have higher positions in such places, and you need to work with them. But be cautious. Be very cautious with that. Yeah, so I'm going to stop there, man. 17 minutes. I never want to go up about 15 minutes, about 17 minutes on the clock. And that was my take on the gynocentric world, and being loyal to yourself, being loyal to the to your masculine values and your principles. It's tough. Because in a way the value is kind of the value you're creating usually is not like it's not seen, it's like it's ignored, but it has a big impact. It has a big impact because there is a need for masculine values out there. There's more now especially there's a lot of need for masculine values and principles now than ever, because people are just doing all sort of feminine shit, man. People are just, they'd rather be feminine than actually create masculine value. A lot of men. It's very disappointing, man. They'd rather be, and of course, it's the system. I'm not blaming it or anything, but that's how the system is. It's single moms, and there's one other around. No one to show a rite of passage. No rite of passage for men these days. So you have to really create yourself into the best version of yourself. But once you're doing that, or you decide to do that, never forget your masculine values and your principles and your tenets have to be masculine at that. And we do not trust people who are against that, especially if they're against you because you have those principles. You discard them, or you just be cautious about them. With that said, man, in your boy Alfred, peace.